When it comes to making a man miss you, most women immediately turn to strategies. They pull away, stop replying, or try to spark jealousy on purpose. And the reason they do that is simple. They've been told that distance creates desire. But what if I told you that it's not distance that makes a man miss you? It's energy. Because you can disappear from his phone and still live rent-free in his mind, and you can text him every day and still feel completely forgettable. See, missing someone isn't about how far you pull away. It's about what he felt when you were close. And the reason why I say it's always about what he felt when you were close is because memory and desire are emotion-based, not logic-based, meaning people don't miss the facts of your presence, that you texted daily or saw each other weekly. They miss the feelings your presence created, the peace, the excitement, the validation, the joy. And unless you created powerful positive emotions during your interactions, distance just becomes absence rather than longing, making the emotional quality of closeness far more important than the strategic manipulation of distance. This is the truth about making men miss you that most advice gets completely wrong. It's not about playing games or being unavailable. It's about creating such powerful positive emotional experiences when you are present that your absence creates a void he actively wants to fill. Most dating advice focuses on tactics. Wait X hours to text back, don't be too available, make him work for your attention. But tactics without emotional foundation create frustration or indifference, not missing. What creates genuine missing is emotional impact. The beautiful truth is that you don't need to play games or manipulate someone into missing you when you understand how to create powerful emotional experiences and then give space for those emotions to be processed. Missing happens naturally, regardless of his initial level of interest. Hi, I'm Gabriel Hart from My Daily Love, and in this video we'll talk about how to make any man miss you like crazy, even if he's not initially into you. Number 1. Stay busy with a life he can't access. The first strategy for making a man miss you is staying busy with a life he can't access, filling your days with work, hobbies, and friends. Because curiosity grows in the space where he can't see everything you're doing, and men don't miss what they can completely see and predict. Think of mystery like an incomplete story. When someone tells you the beginning and middle of a compelling story but not the end, your mind obsessively works to fill in that gap. When your life is visible and predictable, there's no gap to fill. When parts of your life are private and active, his mind fills those gaps with curiosity. When a man knows you're busy with things that don't involve him, several psychological processes occur. First, you're not orbiting him, which means you have independent value and interest beyond the relationship. This elevates your worth in his perception because you're not dependent on him for fulfillment. Second, the parts of your life he can't see create curiosity. Who are you with? What are you doing? What makes you laugh when he's not there? This curiosity keeps you in his mind because incomplete information triggers the brain's need for closure. Third, your busy life means your time and attention become valuable and limited. When he can have your attention anytime he wants, it loses value. When your attention is limited because you have other priorities and commitments, getting your attention feels like winning something valuable. The key is that this must be genuine, not performed. Actually, having a rich life filled with activities, relationships, and interests you genuinely enjoy creates the energy and groundedness that makes you attractive. Faking business while actually sitting around obsessing about him creates anxious energy he'll sense. Women who make men miss them genuinely invest in their own lives. They have friendships that matter. They have hobbies that engage them. They have goals they're pursuing. Their happiness and fulfillment aren't dependent on any one person, which paradoxically makes people want to be the source of their happiness. From what I've seen, the women men miss most are the ones who seem complete and content without them, which creates the desire to be part of that completeness rather than the whole reason for it. Number 2. Leave interactions on a high note. Here's what most women miss about creating missing. Ending calls or meetups when things are still warm makes him remember the emotional peak, not the length of the talk. Because people remember how interactions ended more than how long they lasted or what was discussed in the middle. Think of interactions like songs. A song with a powerful ending stays in your head even if it was short. A song that drags on past its natural conclusion becomes tedious. Interactions work the same way. Ending on a high note while energy is still good leaves him wanting more. Most women make the mistake of extending interactions until energy fades, until conversation runs dry, until the natural momentum dissipates. Then the interaction ends awkwardly or with declining energy. What he remembers is that fade, not the good parts earlier. But when you end an interaction while it's still warm, while you're both still engaged, while energy is still high, what he remembers is that peak feeling. And because it ended while still good, his brain wants to recreate that feeling, creating desire to interact again. This applies to calls, texts, and in-person meetings. When the conversation is flowing well, when you're both laughing or connecting, that's when you say, "This has been great, but I need to go handle something. Talk soon." You leave while he's still enjoying the interaction, creating desire for more rather than relief that it finally ended. The psychological principle is peak end rule. People judge experiences largely based on how they felt at the peak and at the end, rather than averaging the entire experience. By ending on peaks instead of letting interactions decline, you ensure his memory of time with you is positive and desire-creating. This doesn't mean being rude or abruptly cutting things off. It means being aware of energy flow and having the discipline to end things while they're still good, rather than squeezing every last minute out of interactions until they become draining. Quality over quantity applies to interactions. Shorter interactions that end well create more missing than longer interactions that drag until they fade. The brevity itself isn't the magic, it's the consistent association of time with you with positive feelings that end on peaks. Number 3. Show genuine gratitude. What if one of the most powerful missing creators is genuine gratitude, where a quick "thanks for that, it made my day" leaves warmth he'll revisit mentally, because gratitude creates positive association that makes him feel good about himself when he thinks of you. Think of gratitude like planting positive emotional seeds. When you genuinely express appreciation for something he did or said, you're creating a positive memory that he'll replay because it feels good. People revisit memories that make them feel good about themselves. When a man does something kind, helpful, or thoughtful, and you acknowledge it with genuine gratitude, you're creating positive reinforcement. He feels seen, appreciated, and valuable. Those feelings become associated with you, making thoughts of you pleasant rather than neutral or stressful. The key is genuine and specific. Generic thanks doesn't create the same impact as "that thing you said really helped me see the situation differently, thank you." Specific gratitude shows you actually noticed and valued what he did, making the appreciation feel real rather than automatic politeness. This gratitude should be proportional and authentic. Don't manufacture reasons to thank him or overthank for minor things in ways that feel fake. But when he genuinely does something worth appreciating, expressing that appreciation creates powerful, positive association. Men are particularly responsive to feeling appreciated because masculine self-worth is often tied to being useful and capable. When you make a man feel that his presence, actions, or words positively impacted you, he wants to recreate that feeling by doing more things that earn your appreciation. The missing component comes from the fact that you're not constantly available to appreciate him. You express genuine gratitude when warranted, creating powerful positive feelings, but then you're off living your life. This combination of positive association and absence creates desire to interact more to recreate those good feelings. Women who make men miss them are generous with genuine appreciation but scarce with their presence, creating a situation where positive feelings about them are strong but access to those feelings is limited, which generates desire. Number 4. Support his goals from a distance. While connection is important, supporting his goals from a distance with a brief, sincere "hope that project goes great" shows care without attachment, creating positive association without pressure or obligation that makes him want to share wins with you. Think of distant support like cheering from the sidelines rather than coaching on the field. You're expressing care about things that matter to him without inserting yourself into his process or making his goals about you or the relationship. When a man mentions something important he's working on or pursuing, showing genuine interest and offering brief encouragement demonstrates that you care about his success and happiness beyond just what he provides to you. This makes you different from people who only care about him in relation to what they get from the connection. The "from a distance" part is crucial. You're not checking in constantly, offering unsolicited advice or making his goals a joint project. You express genuine support, then give him space to pursue those goals without your involvement unless he invites it. This approach creates powerful psychological effects. First, he associates you with positive feelings about his ambitions because you support rather than compete with or criticize them. Second, your distance respects his autonomy and doesn't create obligation or pressure. Third, when he achieves success, he wants to share it with people who supported him, and you're on that list without having been overbearing. Men often complain about partners who feel threatened by their goals or who demand so much attention that pursuing ambitions creates relationship conflict. When you support his goals from a distance, you're showing you won't be that kind of drain, which makes being with you feel freeing rather than limiting. The missing element comes from the fact that he wants to share his wins with you because you made clear you care about his success. But you're not constantly available or demanding updates, making sharing with you feel like a choice he desires rather than an obligation he resents. When all is said and done, the real art isn't in showing support, it's in knowing how much support to show. Because too little and he feels unseen, too much and he feels smothered. The sweet spot is that middle ground where your presence feels uplifting, not invasive, where he feels your belief in him without feeling your weight on him. The challenge isn't just understanding that supporting his goals creates positive associations, it's calibrating the right amount of interest and encouragement that feels supportive without being intrusive, attentive without being clingy, or caring without creating obligation or pressure for him to reciprocate at a level he's not ready for. Most women either show no interest in his goals because they're afraid of seeming too invested, which makes them seem self-centered or disengaged, or they become overly involved in his goals with constant check-ins and advice that feels suffocating rather than supportive, especially when the relationship is still new or casual. Understanding how to show genuine but boundaried support for his goals that makes him associate you with positive feelings about his ambitions without creating pressure or obligation is crucial because this creates the kind of positive emotional footprint that makes him think of you when things go well and want to share his wins with you. The difference between women whose support makes men miss them versus women whose support either goes unnoticed or feels like pressure often comes down to specific techniques for expressing care that's proportional to the relationship stage and respects his autonomy. Comment support, and I'll reveal the 3 ways to support his goals from a distance that makes him miss you versus the 3 approaches that either seem disinterested or suffocatingly invested, and the exact calibration for how much support to show at different relationship stages. Number 5. Let time work. The final, and perhaps most important strategy is letting time work. Missing someone happens in silence, not strategy, so giving space and focusing on living well is what actually makes people come back, because missing requires absence long enough for the void to be felt, but short enough that memory stays fresh. Think of missing like hunger. Hunger doesn't happen while you're eating or immediately after. It develops over time in the absence of food. Missing works the same way. It develops over time in the absence of your presence and the positive feelings it created. This is where most women sabotage themselves. They create good interactions, leave on high notes, show appreciation, support from a distance, but then they can't handle the silence. They reach out too soon, breaking the space where missing develops, or they obsessively check if he's thinking of them, creating anxious energy that prevents natural desire from building. Letting time work means having the discipline to genuinely withdraw your attention and energy, not as punishment or manipulation, but as natural result of having your own life. You're busy doing things that matter to you. You're not available constantly because you have other priorities. This creates the space where missing can develop. The key is that during this space, you're not sitting around thinking about him, strategizing your next move, or checking his social media obsessively. You're actually living well. You're investing in friendships, pursuing goals, enjoying hobbies, taking care of yourself. This genuine engagement with your own life creates the energy that made you attractive in the first place. Men don't miss energy that's sitting around waiting for them. They miss energy that's vibrant, alive, and engaged with life. The best way to make someone miss you is to actually be someone worth missing, living a life that's rich and fulfilling with or without them. The time element is also important. If you reach out too soon, he hasn't had time to miss you. If you disappear for so long that he moves on, you've missed the window. The right timing depends on the relationship context, but generally giving at least a few days to a week of genuine space after positive interactions allows missing to develop. Quality women understand that you can't force or manufacture missing. You can only create the conditions for it, positive emotional experiences followed by genuine absence while you're living well. Then you let time do its work naturally.